Okay, just as a preface, I preloaded the pair data set into the data folder right over here. All right, let's begin. insightUBC. So for my first user story, we are a student at UBC. We're studying computer science and course registration is coming up. In order to fulfill my degree, I need to figure out what upper level electives I want to take. There's so many choices. CS 322, 314, 319, 317, 344. Which ones do I want to take? Well, one way to decide is to see which courses have had historically high averages. So let's head on over to the search page. We're very fortunate that insightUBC has a feature that allows us to do just that. So over here, we'll see that there's a box that allows us, the user, to insert the course code. As well, there's a drop-down menu that allows the user to select the minimum average they would like to see. There's also the search button. After hitting the search button, we'll be shown a list of courses and the sections in the past that have had a minimum average of the one that you selected or greater than that. So let's try that out for one of the courses we're deciding on. For example, CPSC 322. Let's select a minimum average of at least 74 and hit the search button. We can see that CPSC 322 has around 7 or so sections in the past with a minimum average of 74 or higher. Now let's compare that to another course we're considering, such as CPSC 317. Once again, let's hit the enter key. This time we see that only 5 or so sections in the past have had a class average of 74 or higher. Now this makes our decision-making process a bit easier. We can see that CPSC 322 has had more sections with a minimum average of 74 or higher, so maybe that would be a better choice for us to take. Now let's go on to the second scenario. What if the user mistakenly types a course code that doesn't exist at UBC? So let's try that, ABCD123. Once again, we can select a minimum average. Let's do 70 this time, and we'll hit the search button. We're prompted with an error message that says no data found, try searching for a different course. Now, this makes sense. ABCD123 is not a real course, it doesn't exist at UBC, and as such, no data will be shown. Let's try searching for a different course, once again, that actually exists at UBC, CPSC 344. And voila, the table repopulates with the relevant information pertaining to CPSC 344 with a minimum average of 70 or higher. Now let's move on to our second user story. This time we're an instructor at UBC and we want to add our course data to insightUBC. We've been teaching this one course, CPSC 330, for the past few years, and we want to make this data accessible on this application. Now this is helpful for numerous different reasons. One, professors that might teach the course in the future, they can see that I taught the course and they can reach out to me and maybe ask for advice on how to teach the course better, how to effectively get the concepts across to the students. Alternatively, it's also helpful for students. Say a couple of different instructors are teaching this course and they wanted to figure out which ones they want to learn from. They can go on insightUBC and see which instructor has had a higher historical average or a higher pass rate. So let's head on to the view page first and see what course data I currently have. So right now it shows that I have no course data on this application insightUBC. Let's change that. So we'll head on over to the add course data page. Once again, I'm going to type in my name. And here we're presented with a form with the unique ID, course code, course title, subject, the year I taught it, the class average, number of passes, number of fails, and number of audits. All the relevant fields insightUBC needs before we can add our data to the application. So let's fill it in for the section that I taught last year in 2022. Okay, so after appropriately filling in all the fields, we can hit the submit button down here, and it says data was added successfully. Let's go back over to the view page and check that it was indeed added successfully. And there we go. The course data that I just submitted for the year 2022 is being shown on this table right over here. It says that I taught CPSC 333 in 2022 with a class average of 81, number of passes 82, fails 8, and audits 10. Now let's head on over to the second scenario. Let's say when I'm filling this out, I accidentally type in an invalid entry. For example, what if I'm filling in my data for 2023? And instead of typing a positive number, I type in a negative number by mistake. Unable to add data. Error. Sections averages must be greater than or equal to 0. Now this makes sense. A class average cannot have a negative average, right? Cannot be a negative number. No section in the past or future will have a negative average. insightUBC is letting us know that we made a mistake while inputting our data and is asking us to fix this. So let's fix this. We'll hit the submit button down again. And now we're prompted with data was successfully added. Let's go back to the view page and make sure this actually happened. As you can see, our entry for 2023 was correctly added with the class average of 83, not a negative 83, which we mistakenly typed originally.